So for this camp, in any given day, Ryan wakes up and he runs like Forrest Gump. And he doesn't have to, but he does.
How you feel?
Amazing.
He said 7 punches not gonna do it. I said, if you didn't put in the contract that I can't throw more than 7 punches, then I'd throw more than that.
Because Ryan is an elite fighter, he's a knockout artist, among the best fighters in the world today. They want to take every step to try to control the amount of strength he's gonna have the next day.
The day you sparring Ryan, just 2 days, right?
Yeah. Just like one day he like forgot his tampon, he just started bleeding all over the place. So yeah. 52 years, bro. And it's in the hood, bro. It hasn't closed down yet. You know why? Because this place is good.
Way more explained. Ryan's fast as shit. Ain't nobody gonna say Ryan's not one of the fastest fighters. And I look way faster at 47, way more explosive, way more durable.
In his camp, Ryan Garcia is working tirelessly. Additionally, he is improving his focus, quickness, and confidence as he gets ready for Mario Barrios with Rolly Romero's assistance throughout training.
Hey, go forward now. Yeah. Ahí, ándale, rico, arriba, abajo y arriba. Arriba, abajo, eso. Adelante y atrás. Échale, hijo, 5 minutes here. A ver. And 1 and...
In training camp, Ryan Garcia concentrates on power and quickness, honing his craft via consistent daily work.
Stop! Una, 2, 3. Y luego 4 y 5. La que estás haciendo la 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y aquí. Still, güey. Ya. 3, 4, 5. Y ahora. After. 3, 4.
Joining Ryan Garcia's training camp, Rolly Romero intensifies his daily workouts, honing his speed, power, and concentration with unwavering devotion. Ryan Garcia stresses how crucial After previously sparring, Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia now work together respectfully, encouraging one another's development every day.
Somebody's tired or feeling down that day, we're picking each other up.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We feel so good. We're in this together.
We're like the same person, different hair color.
It's just good to have like-minded people that are ready to take advantage of the opportunities, and we're not gonna let it slip. We're all building our own legacy, and when we get in the ring, you guys are gonna see something special.
Mario Barrios maintains his composure, emphasizing his background and extended ring presence to assert every edge over Ryan Garcia in this bout.
Like that.
When Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios was announced, Max Kellerman and Robert Garcia expressed their candid opinions and placed more emphasis on Ryan's training circumstances.
I have coming to this fight is just overall just like everything. You know, my experience, you know, who I've been in the ring with, who I faced. I think, you know, the boxing IQ, I think I had that on my side. You know, heart. I think, yeah.
He does have experience, more experience.
Kellerman brought up a crucial discipline-related issue. He questioned whether Garcia ever gave those reputable trainers complete authority because elite coaches insist on accountability, regulations, and consistency. Fighters are unable to just decide what they want to do every day. Trainers like Rioso or James already train champions and will not bend standards for anyone, Robert continued. It becomes challenging for a boxer to advance in leadership if they are unable to accept that. Mario Barrios might benefit from this volatility, according to both analysts. Barrios is renowned for his consistent size, ring experience, and preparation. The outcome of the bout may be determined by the camp's organization.
Dad, which I'm not saying the dad is not, you know, the dad brought him through the amateurs, but when he left his dad or went to seek a different trainer, before he came back to that, he went through 3 different trainers. Wow. That means what do you mean? All 3 are not good enough to, you know, they're all 3 are the best in the world.
Here's the question. Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goosen, I know Joe Goosen. My brother used to train with him. He's not gonna just let you get away with stuff like that. Derrick James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need, he's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's gonna be under my rules. Mm-hmm. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I keep that.
Huh? Wade, a boxing analyst. Clemens provided a perceptive analysis of the impending matchup between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. He posed the age-old query, does the fighter make the coach, or does the coach make the fighter? Joe Goosen has a long history as a reputable boxing trainer, and Clemens emphasized his ability to mold fighters. Barrios is currently practicing under Goosen. The analyst asked whether the seasoned coach might offer Barrios fresh resources or perspectives that Bob Santos had not yet given him. Clemens also drew attention to Garcia's assurance, implying that Ryan thinks he already knows what Barrios and his group are about to accomplish.
To even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. And hopefully that'll happen with Zuffa Boxing, and I am a part of Zuffa Boxing, full disclosure. You know, the first fight coming up on the 23rd.
Oh, congrats, Max. Congrats,
but you need some
I got
kind of.
On that card,
there
so
you go.
Good.
You need some kind of.
Right?
So, well, the undercard has not been announced yet, but yeah, we could talk about
what names, but yeah.
But we need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. Yep. He's got to do it. Yep. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything, and it was nothing. It was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office, and you turn around a couple years.
He even alluded to Garcia's assertions that he was aware of specifics on Barrios' preparation, though it is unclear what use such knowledge would have. Clemens ultimately underlined that the bond between coach and fighter is just as important in a fight as physical prowess. Is Goosen able to teach Barrios new tactics? Or will Garcia's familiarity with Goosen's methods give him the edge? The analysis highlights the ways in which preparation, experience, and the coach-fighter dynamic could lead to Garcia and Barrios' eventual meeting in the ring.
Interesting answer. I always wonder who makes a fighter, right? Especially in boxing, combat sports. Is it a coach that makes the fighter or the fighter that makes the coach? Now, Joe Goosen has a track record of being a high-level boxing coach. We know that. But do coaches change for fighters, or do they implement what they know to fighters and fighters change for coaches? Because this will be the crux of what happens here. Can Joe Goosen, not to call Mario Barrios old, but can he teach an old dog new tricks? Can he give him something that Bob Santos hasn't? Sure. Can he give him more info about what Ryan likes to do? Absolutely. But will it be enough to prepare him for what Ryan knows that Joe knows? And how Joe trains fighters, and how Joe runs a camp, and how rigid he might be. And even that last part, Ryan's talking about information leaking maybe from Joe, or that Joe was leaking information about Barrios, or about, I'm not sure who he was talking about, Ryan.
Ryan Garcia's trainer asserted that this camp is entirely different from previous ones while speaking strongly about his fighter discipline and weight control. He clarified that everything else happens when Garcia mentally locks in. Using the 140-pound class is a viable and potent option. He emphasized that Garcia can effortlessly push past the limit while retaining his stamina and strength.
The chaos in the corner, or not maybe chaos, but kind of misdirection in the corner of the Manny Pacquiao fight, where Bob Santos is saying one thing and other cornermen are saying, that are, you know, a part of Mario's kind of OG team, are saying another. I think it's pretty well known that I would assume well known that Mario Barrios' dad used to train him, and I don't know if he was in the corner or it was somebody else, but there was a miscommunication, it seemed like, from even the people in the corner around the strategy of the Barrios fight or what they wanted to do against Manny Pacquiao. And let's just say I heard from sources there were a lot of frustrations that came out of that fight with how Barrios went into that fight, how he performed in that fight, and how directions were listened to from either one side or the other. It felt like it was a bit of a confusing thing. So when you have that kind of a situation, you feel like you need to make a move. One person's going to get left out in the dust, and it's probably not someone that's either.
The trainer also acknowledged that Garcia was not totally concentrated during the Devin Haney fight camp and let distractions interfere with his training. But this time, the attitude is more professional and incisive. On fight night, he thinks fans will see a leaner physique, improved stamina, and explosive power. Even the fact that 147 is close to 140 was acknowledged by the team. Therefore, lowering down without strict rehydration guidelines shouldn't be an issue. The message was obvious overall. Ryan Garcia is back and ready to provide his greatest performance as a stronger, more committed version of himself.
Our strength and conditioning coach will lock it in, Ryan will lock it in, and we're back to 140. Solid. Now, that's a strong possibility. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. And we talked about that.
It changes things.
Yeah, and I mean this. I mean this 100% sincerely, that we could make 140.
Because when you guys fought Haney, you guys were not necessarily you guys, but he was drinking, he was doing all these other things that...
Exactly, yeah, forget about that and forget about the Rolly, because I'm telling you, that was not Ryan. This is Ryan. This is Ryan. You're going to see Ryan. This is going to be Ryan. And you're going to say, man, he looks good. His weight is good. And his strength is unbelievable.
Fans are advised by analysts not to place too much emphasis on the brief training videos of Ryan Garcia that are doing the rounds online. A 1-minute montage or even a 15-second highlight reel cannot adequately convey a fighter's level of preparation for a 12-round fight. These videos are meticulously crafted to highlight power, speed, and deft maneuvers while hiding the more difficult aspects of camp life, such exhaustion, weight loss, and conditioning difficulties. Consequently, the video frequently presents an insufficient picture.
Too far off from 140. So there's a strong possibility without rehydration calls, we could probably drop down to 140 with no problem.
And make the fight happen at 40 instead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you guys can rehydrate whatever you guys want from there.
I mean, you know, listen, this is another thing that I've been seeing, and this is kind of interesting, is that yeah, you got to rehydrate, of course, absolutely. Now, how far you can rehydrate? I would love to be over 7-8 pounds. Some go 10, some go 12, some even go 15, you know, but they do rehydrate. But when you're in shape, in total fitness, I think the most you could hydrate is 7 or 8 pounds. I'm not kidding you. When you're in excellent shape.
Before losing to Rolando Romero in New York, Garcia looked good in similar video, according to analysts. The results inside the ring, however, revealed a different picture. That illustration shows that combat outcomes cannot be predicted solely by highlights. Direct comparisons are further complicated by the paucity of training videos of Mario Barrios that have been made public. Nevertheless, the videos provide insight into Garcia's perspective. He seems serious about preparation.
10-second, 15-second clips, because Ryan very well could have had similar clips before the Rolly fight, but then he ends up losing to Rolly in New York. So for me, when I see sparring clips or brief edited clips online, I don't necessarily factor that in too much into what is to be the outcome, because the fact of the matter is, for Mario Barrios, I haven't really seen many clips from him at all. So training footage is very selective by nature. You're usually going to see the best moments plucked out, highlights, specific drills, things that would make someone look good. It don't really tell the full story about conditioning, weight cutting, or readiness. But what it does or can give you is an overall, like a snapshot of where the fighter is mentally, physically. Ryan does look like.
In boxing, greatness is determined by legacy as much as wins. Ryan Garcia being a world champion would give boxing a well-known name that could captivate people both inside and outside of the sport. According to analysts, big names versus great names combatants whose identities appeal to audiences are necessary to keep boxing relevant in 2026 and beyond. Garcia's victory over Mario Barrios would inspire the next generation and revive interest in American boxing.
Much looking forward to the fight. I think Ryan Garcia really needs to impress here because he's coming off of a loss to Rolly Romero. And we all know in the world of boxing that back-to-back losses can really drive you down the ladder. So I am enjoying what I'm seeing regarding Ryan Garcia as he gears up for this particular fight. Ryan Garcia, his discipline has been in question in the past, but right now it looks like he's trying to really make a statement. He posted this via his official social media. This is Ryan's page, evident by the blue check mark. Quote, "Maybe you aren't my speed. Some shots throughout camp. The finish line is a..."
Despite his experience, Barrios has had trouble taking advantage of pivotal moments in previous well-publicized bouts. Garcia, on the other hand, has a broad appeal that can draw investors and casual viewers back to the sport. Current events demonstrate that for boxing to flourish, legacy must take precedence, and well-known boxers like Garcia are crucial to rekindling interest and funding in American boxing.
Garcia does become a world champion, it just makes it more interesting. Legacy reigns supreme. I said the last year that coming into 2026, to sustain the sport of boxing, to captivate the imagination, the emotions, and the interest of the boxing fans and casuals outside of the sport of boxing, we need the names versus the names, relevant versus relevant. We need people that people recognize. We need the fans to recognize these names, and they will be interested. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Garcia beating Mario Barrios is good for the sport of boxing. It's good for this young generation because let's be real, let's be honest. Mario Barrios is not going to cut it in keeping the interest of the sport of boxing. He hasn't done it. He's been in big fights and he have not seized the moment. No, you Dennis Ugas, yeah, but it didn't seize the moment. We need interest. Ladies and gentlemen, American boxing is dying. A lot of people is not investing in American boxing.
That concludes today's video. Keep an eye out. Till the next time.
Netflix is just going to give you this events here and there. Maybe they'll give us Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao too, but at the end of the day, everybody has abandoned American boxing, and the only way we get these investors back into the American landscape, we got to do what we did out there at Madison Square Garden, New York City, this past weekend when we saw Shakur Stevenson beat Teofimo Lopez. Sold out crowd. Why was a sold out crowd? Because it was name versus a name. People recognize both names, tri-state area, right? Teofimo Lopez never did a sold out or even come close to selling out a big arena. Shakur Stevenson didn't come close to selling out even